couple seconds. I want to get everybody up to speed. And let me get with Gerald, and then I'll fire back on here in 1 second. Gerald, let me know when you're ready. I'll be back in 1 sec, guys. Okay, so let's take a look at the markets here this morning. Let's look at the last few days. Let's go over our standard retracements that we use. So this is our standard chart. This is a 1-1-35 Unirinco 24/7 back. This is our standard chart we'd like to use. And these are our 24 buy and sell zones. So this is the current ticking data right now, 61.55 3/4 where the S&P is. This is yesterday's trades. The day before, we had a real big markup. They marked the market up big time a few days ago. Our zones caught the move here, a couple zones. Caught it at in the afternoon at 1, and then at right around 2 o'clock, and then it caught the one in the evening also. And then we caught the big short that morning also around 11:15, 11:30. So these are all the potential zones off of our 25 sim algo. So this is our standard chart we like to use. Here's our standard zones. So the standard zones will look like this. These are buy zones. So you'll see these little dash levels. These are buy zones. When we get down to at the zone or inside of the zone, when it comes at the zone or inside of the zone, it can be at it or inside of it. It just cannot close below it. So you can't close by one candle below the zone or there's no trade. So you can see that how we come down to these zones, you get inside of them. And then we get the reversal candle for the entry, reversal candle for the entry, comes inside the zone, reversal candle for the entry. So these are our standard 25, our standard chart. If you're new to the system, a 1-1-35, you can go less. If you go less than these Unirincos and go like a 1-1-30, 1-1-25, 1-1-20, 1-1-15, etc. The zones are static, so these zones do not change. You just could get more W bottoms or V tops inside the zone, meaning you're going to get more reversal candles because it's a lower Renko chart. But the zone integrity will not change because these zones are static. They do not repaint. So once these zones are set, these are our buy and sell zones. So what we do, this is a 1-100 Unirinco zone. So if it's green, we're looking to buy the 25 zone. If it's red, we're looking to sell the 25 zone. So if I skinny this down since this week, since this is Wednesday, since Monday, you can see our biggest day was the 23rd. The 23rd, they marked the market up big time. And we had the market really push hard, 25 all the way up to almost just under 100-point move for that trading session. So it's a really nice, they really marked it up pretty hard. Yesterday was more of a consolidation day. You can see the consolidation that happened. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 sell signals. Now going into today's session, we are into a buy signal. We're into a buy zone. You can see right here, buy zone. They started off the going into the trading session. They're trying to mark the market up. Right now, our next buy zone would be down here since we are green. We're green on the 1-100. So that's our next buy zone that we're looking for that's coming up. So there's all the potential reversals today, this week, since the 23rd. These are all the potential buy signals. Here's a buy signal that started out Monday. And that's all the way to Wednesday here today that we're looking at as far as the session goes. So really the big day was, like I said, the 23rd. Yesterday was a consolidation day. Now we're trying to go mark the market up. So this is a really nice chart to have up if you're new to the system, is a 1135. You go back 24/7. Put the 25 zones in. When I say the 25 zones, those are the sim algo zones. That's what I mean. We'll put the sim algo right here. Sim Rinko algo. That's our proprietary algo bar type that has all the filters built into it. So you just put 25 in there, and that is our standard zone to buy off of our 1135. And then what you can do is you can put the Uni Rinko as our trend zone. This is our trend zone to keep on the right side of the market. If it's green, we're looking to buy the 25 buy zone. If it's red, we're looking to sell the 25 buy zone. So 100. That's the largest Rinko size we like to use, is the 100, and we like to use that with trend. So if trend is up, green, we're looking to buy 25 zone. If trend is red, we're looking to sell 25 sell zone. Now, we do have additional zones that we look at, that you can look at. And I want to go over this yesterday. I caught a really nice trade yesterday. So this is still a 1135 Uni Rinko chart, but I like to trade change the hours to the NYMEX RTH6. What that does is it starts trading these fresh zones. These fresh zones start popping up from 8:30 until 1:30 in the afternoon. So this is the entire trading session from yesterday. And it caught a really good, and I want to make traders aware of this. There's additional zones we do trade off of. And you can put it on a separate chart so you don't have all these zones on top of each other. Some traders like to put everything on top of each other, is fine. But our standard zone is a 1135 Uni Rinko chart. That's a standard chart. And then we'd like to do a 25 buy zone, a 25 sim algo buy zone, buy or sell zones. And then we'd like to do, for the trend, to keep our mind right, we like to do a 100 Uni trend. So that's your standard zone that we like to use. Here's our standard chart with our standard zone. This is the basic zone that we like to use right there, okay? That's it right there. You can see we just start trading on this chart right now with fresh zones just now. Just start trading. So yesterday, so that's our standard chart. $25 buy zones. So we have additional, with the same chart and the same trend, we have additional buy and sell zones. So the additional ones would be here, would be a 35. Sometimes the market gets really hot, like it did a couple days ago. We have a 35 buy zone, a 100, and a 200. This is for deep liquidity grabs. So those are our top 4 zones we like to use in the room. Right there's the 25. That's our standard. But then on a separate chart, we like to put up a 25, 35, 100, and 200. Now, when's the best time to use those? The 35, I love to look at that when the market is outside of market profile or when the market's hot. So, because what happens, it can run through the 25 zone and not pull us in and come down like it did yesterday, this 35 zone, and just take off. I mean, it was a beautiful trade yesterday, a Confluence trade. And then a deeper liquidity grab would be a 100. And the real deep liquidity grabs, when they try to really pull the market back, they'll pull this market back to the 200 all the way down here. They'll stretch it, and you'll get a reversal bar inside of that 200 zone, and you'll get that nice little V bottom or V top. So when you're looking at this, what happens when these, when the 35, 25, 35, 100, 200 overlap each other? It's called confluence. Now you're getting a confluence zone. So what happened yesterday, this NYMEX chart started trading at 825 here. You can see it start trading. start trading, and it start producing these zones for us. So I call it fresh zones. So right when it started producing these fresh zones, we had a 35 zone that popped up right away. And we also got a 100 zone pop up right away. Let me get this off. So if you look, they overlap right over top of each other, right exactly over top. We had the 35 zone here that overlap right over top of the 100 zone. So I call this confluence. When the zones overlap, there's the top of the 35, and then we got the your other zone. So your 35 zone is really the key to this trade. But it lets me know that I got a confluence when they're over top each other, and I'm inside of one of the zones. So I was inside of the 35 zone, and the 35 and 100 was overlapping each other. That told me that I've got confluence. So the two overlap right on top of each other, right here, right over top each other. That was the top of the 100, and that was inside of the 35. So when you got the reversal candle at this level, that is a valid setup. 18, and then it rallied all the way up to 48 yesterday before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it had a really, really nice push. So 28.30, 48.30 S&P point push just upon that 35-100 confluence. So that happens a lot. I like to put this on a separate chart. Some of you traders are trading these other markets, like since what happened with Iran and Israel and so on. A lot of you guys have been trading crude oil this week and so on, because the oil price is fluctuating. So you trade this with any market. It's the same way. You want to put it on a different chart, so you don't have to have all these on one chart. And some traders like to put the 25, 35, 100, 200 all one chart and see where they overlap, which you can do that also. Is totally up to you if you want to do that. And so that's a good way to measure when these things are confluing and when you got a possible buy setup coming. So if you look at today's data right now, the market's ticking. We don't have any confluence levels because there's the 35. There's a 35 zone. Here's our liquidity grab 100 zone, and our 200s are really deep. So we don't have any confluence per se right now. But when you do see these line up like that, if it starts ticking, we had confluence right away yesterday, right from the get-go. And it started confluing right at 9:40 time of day trade. So if you see those overlap like that during the trading session, it gives you a big heads up to watch out, look for a nice confluence trade, and watch for a continuation move. Okay, so a lot of traders, what I educate is to put these on separate charts. So you can see the 25, that's our standard chart. And then you put the 35, 100, 200 separate chart for deeper liquidity grabs, all a trend. Now, one more thing I'd like to show is that, let's get these off here, is that you can overlap these trends. So let's go over these, the trend. So what you can do is you can take, and this is up to you as a trader, you can leave just the 1-100 by itself to show this big green trend or red trend. Or what you can do is you can use the 25 zone to find our zones, but then you could change the Uni Renko to 1-165 and then put it on again as an indicator. This is indicator-based zones. And you use a 1-1-100 also. Now, why traders would want to do that is you can find additional trades when the market tends to pull back against overall big trend. So you can take some, not pretty much counters, but they are going against the bigger trend. In other words, some traders just like to put up the 1-100, 1-1-100 and leave this trend zone all by itself. While other traders, what they'll do is they'll use the 1-165 added on also. And it lets them know when there's a possible trend change coming up of a possible change in direction. And you can see it sooner. What does that mean? So if you notice that when they overlap, it's green, green. All right. These are buy signals. These are strong buy signals because it's green, green. Strong buy signal here too. Because you can see the 1-165 and the 1-100 overlap is green, green. But when they disagree, you'll see the 165 lead it will lead the 100. All right, so the reason traders want to see that is that you sometimes get trades off the 1165 where the 1100 is not turned over yet. So if you want additional setups, you can do this and overlap them. I leave it in the room like this so you can see both. But some traders will just want to have the 1100, not worry about not take as many trades. They'll leave this guy up and they'll only look at the big trends because you can see it doesn't change trend that much. It will stick with trend. And what they'll do is they'll leave the 25, 35, 100, 200 all with this 100 trend and just take trades that way. So you can overlap those also where you can put everything on one chart if you want to and just take the overall big trend in the market. A lot of traders like to do that, which is, you can catch these nice moves like yesterday if you overlap the big. I only show the 25 in the room, but some traders like to see this confluence when my 35, 100, and 200 overlap. Like yesterday at 9:40 time of day trade, and it caught that 30-point spike run into the market, right into the zone. So that's a deeper liquidity grab. Now, if you wanted to put all these on the additional zones, you can do that. You can enter this in. Now, this is named different for you. This is just my own personal do it, but we add this in. And you can put this in. Let's say we put the 25 zone in also. Put my sim algo. And you can add in all these zones to find out where the confluence levels are. That's my 30-year back tested zone. And so if you wanted to do that, you could add those in. And then what you can do is you can do it off of one chart and see where it conflues. It just, to me, it's a lot. It covers the chart a lot. Some traders like to do that, and they like to see where these overlap at to find confluence levels. You can do that. I like it when there's a lot going on here, so I like just taking it off and using the 35, 100, 200 zone by itself. See, this to me would be a big confluence levels if it got down. That is big confluence overlapping. So what I like to do is I like to keep the 25 off by itself. Like this, and then have it as my standard chart to trade off of, my 25 with trim zone. And then I like to see when these guys conflue together, my 35, my 100 and 200 chart, when they overlap, it gives me a good spot. Right now we don't have confluence right now. The market's ticking. These are buy spots now on a retracement. We're looking for a buy. The market would have to come down inside this liquidity grab, have to come inside the zone. It cannot break that zone. And then we look for a reversal candle for a trade like that. Or if it breaks through that zone, it come down here. Or the deep zone, that would be a big trade. That doesn't happen very often, but when it gets down to that 200 level, it likes to really fire off that level pretty hard. So that's one way I like to do it. If you wanted to, a lot of traders, what they do, they'll use the standard 25 zone like this. Here's our buy setup that we're into now. They'll use a 25 buy zone, and then they'll put the other right beside it, on a separate. Monitors are so cheap right now. You can get a dual monitor, you can plug in USB, and have these charts all by themselves. You can have this chart all by itself if you wanted to, and you can see where the big levels are like that to see when you're buying and selling. So you can see that right now it's very clear where the next buy signal is right now. Here's our buy zone where the market has to get down to. And here's our larger liquidity grab zones also. So it's totally up to you guys how you want to do it, but that's the best way to do it. is I like to leave in how I educate traders, leave this 25 zone all by itself on that 135, and you get a lot of opportunity from there. Okay. Gerald, go ahead and shut that off if you can. So let's go.